Hello, and welcome to this free training for the English Confidence Transformation Method that I teach. And today I'm going to be giving you a free preview of it. And what we're going to be learning is all about pitch and intonation. What is the difference between these two things? And why it's extremely important for you as a non native speaker to master these things. Because the mastery of pitch and intonation is key for achieving natural English and will really help you transition to speaking English more natively and more like a native speaker. There's going to be a lot of practice. So if you don't have a lot of time, feel free to save this video and come back to it whenever you want to practice your intonation again or pitch or feel like your speaking is sounding strange to native speakers. Because pitch is the reason why sometimes many of you might feel like native speakers think that you always talk and sound the same way when you speak English, or that you sound boring or robotic. So, first, let's learn what is pitch and inflection and why do they matter? Well, pitch and inflection are extremely important in English to successfully expressing yourself like a native speaker. Mastering pitch and knowing the difference between these also have the advantage of increasing the intelligibility of what you're saying in English to natives. So, mastering these two things will help you convey your meaning effectively and will make you a more engaging speaker. It's also extremely important to learn because in English, words, sentences, and whole phrases and their role within a sentence or a piece of speech change through our voice. So this is how we're able to convey to other people whether we're asking a question or excited or making a statement. And in English there are three types of inflections. And of course, both there are three types of inflections and pitch. There's the falling downward inflection, the rising inflection, the held or sustained inflection. And of course, there's the pitch versions of these as well. So a falling downward inflection, a falling or downward pitch, a rising upward pitch, and a held or sustained pitch. So falling inflection versus downward or falling pitch. Falling inflection is the most common one in English, and most sentences in English end with a downward or falling inflection. We use this usually to emphasize a word in a sentence that often comes near the end, and it signals the end of a thought or adds confidence to your speech. So, if you're someone who has been criticized by native speakers for sounding the same, this can really help you. By adding this intonation, will help your listeners know that you've ended your thought or what you're saying in English. This works because this how it works. Sorry. Sentences that make statements or commands usually end with a downward pitch. The most emphasized word in a sentence often comes near the end, and a strong downward pitch makes you sound more assertive and clear to a listener or to your listener. Meanwhile, A downward pitch means your voice moves from a higher tone to a lower tone. This usually happens gradually over the phrase or sentence you're saying. For example, and say this with me. Imagine saying, I'm so tired. Again, I'm so tired. If you say, I'm so tired, with your voice getting lower, that's what you hear there is a downward pitch. It makes your speech sound more serious, sad, or calm. And it's different from a downward inflection, which happens only at the end of a sentence to show confidence or finality. So here's how downward pitch is used in English. Firstly, to express sadness or disappointment. So, I don't know what to do, with your voice gradually dropping as you finish the sentence. Now let's practice this sentence again. I don't know what to do. You hear how my voice is gradually lowering the longer the sentence goes on. This is really bad. You lower your pitch here to show and express sadness. And remember to repeat after me to practice. This is really bad. Another way we use pitch is showing exhaustion or boredom. So, for example, I'm so tired. Your voice gets lower as you stretch the word. Or, that movie was just too long. Your voice dropping towards the end. Now, practice with me. I'm so tired. That movie was just too long. We also use a lower pitch when speaking in a calm or serious tone. And this all depends on the context. So we need to talk about something important. Your voice lowers slightly to show the seriousness. And again, a native speaker will understand that it's important through the context of your sentence. So we need to talk about something important. Next, it's time to go home, gradually lowering the home, to make it sound final and firm. Again, practice with me. It's time to go home. Your voice lowering on home. Next way we use it is telling a story dramatically. So this is a problem that a lot of my students have, is that they find it hard to tell stories or describe their day as well as they do in the native languages. And this will really help. So let's practice. And then everything went silent. Your pitch lowering to create suspense. Slowly, the door creaked open, your voice dropping to sound mysterious. Again, let's practice. And then everything went silent, your voice lowering on silence. Slowly, the door creaked open. All right, now let's practice downward inflection. As you can see here, you can see the word which you need to stress. So, can I borrow your book? And as you can hear my voice, the pitch falls on book. He's going to the store. Again, the pitch falls on store. The exam is next Monday. Again, the pitch or the stress falls on Monday. Next, with an unstressed syllable, I'm going to the store later. The pitch softens gradually. She has a meeting at 3. There's a small drop off to show that it's the end of the thought. They're coming over tonight. There's a slightly bigger drop that marks the end of the sentence. So again, let's practice all of these words, all of these sentences, again, and repeat after me. So, can I borrow your book? Stressing book. He's going to the store. The exam is next Monday. On all of these, you're placing stress on Monday, or store, or book. With an unstressed syllable, I'm going to the store later. She has a meeting at 3. They're coming over tonight. Now, why is this important? Having a strong downward inflection projects confidence. It also helps reduce accent bias, making you sound more natural in English. And several of my students have had native speakers comment about how their pitch and inflection doesn't sound right when they speak. So mastering this will really help you. So here is a difference, and make sure you have either a note-taking app or a piece of pencil to write this down. So a downward pitch means your voice goes from higher to a lower sound, and it usually happens over a word or sentence. So like this. Whereas a downward inflection drops at the end of a sentence or word to show that you are finished or sure about something. So you have your sentence and then it drops. Let's practice with some examples here. Downward pitch, a general lowering of your voice. And again, make sure to repeat and after me and practice with my voice. Imagine saying, I'm very tired. Your voice getting lower as you speak. I'm very tired. I'm very tired. Now let's see some examples with a downward inflection. If someone asks you, are you coming? You answer, yes, with your voice dropping to show certainty. It's really important here because a downward inflection makes a statement sound strong or final. And we native speakers use it when making a statement, giving a command, or expressing confidence. So let's practice downward inflection some more. Read the following sentences aloud, focusing on having a strong downward inflection. You can pause the video here and say them, and then I will give my answers and you can compare how different your voice sounds compared to mine. So, my name is Harry. I live in Orlando. I work as a tutor. I like watching movies. Today is a beautiful day. Now, let's now do this again. Repeat pause the video, repeat each sentence, and really try to practice this. Now, let's move on to getting some practice and getting comfortable with a falling pitch. Remember again, say them slowly, lowering your voice as you reach the end of the sentence or phrase. So statements with certainty. I have to go now. Again, your pitch or your voice falling at the final word. This is my final decision. She will be there soon. Now expressing sadness or disappointment. Again, placing a lot of emphasis on the final word. I really wanted to win. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. This was a terrible mistake. I just don't know anymore. Okay, now let's practice showing exhaustion or boredom. These ones is going to be even more obvious where you're going to extend the word and stress it. I'm so sleepy. Ugh, work was so exhausting. All right, now let's do these. Let's practice these sentences again and remember to repeat after me. So, I have to go now. This is my final decision. She will be here soon. We are ready to start. Now expressing sadness or disappointment. And remember, say these in a slightly lower and slower tone. I really wanted to win. It wasn't supposed to happen this way. This was a terrible mistake. Or no, that was a terrible mistake. I just don't know anymore. And now, boredom. I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy. Ugh, work was so exhausting. That class was too long. I just want to go home. Now practice the two on top. That class was too long. I just want to go home. Now we're going to practice creating suspense or drama with our pitch. Say these slowly, lowering your voice at the end for effect. So, repeat after me. And then everything went dark. He turned around, but no one was there. She opened the letter and gasped. It was the last time they ever saw him. Remember, repeat after me, saying these slowly and lowering your voice at the end for effect. And then everything went dark. He turned around, but no one was there. She opened the she opened the letter and gasped. It was the last time they ever saw him. Now we also use a lower pitch for commands and instructions. So say these firmly, lowering your pitch to sound more authoritative. Close the door. Sit down. Listen carefully. Stop talking. Like this, remember? Close the door. Sit down. Listen carefully. Stop talking. Again, repeat after me. So let's practice even more, really trying to nail this important part of English that you need to master to sound more natural. So a fulling in this time we're using and practicing a fulling inflection, in the statements to show finality and confidence. And again, stress the final word. I need to finish this report. She's coming to the party tonight. The train arrives at 5 o'clock. Again, stress that final word. I need to finish this report. She's coming home to the party. The train arrives at 5 o'clock. And we do this to show the signal. Sorry, there's a mistake here, but it should be a downward inflection signals that the thought is complete and sounds more confident and natural to natives. Now, a falling pitch. Let's practice falling pitch again with using it for authority and directness. So, close the door. Take a seat. Call me when you get there. Again, voice rises and then sharp drops. Close the door. Take a seat. Call me when you get there. Again, a falling pitch here makes a statement sound firm and direct, rather than weak and uncertain. Now let's practice downward inflection with HO questions. So this is when you expect information. The who, what, where, when, why, how. And these usually end with a downward inflection because Whoever is asking the question is expecting a yes or no answer. So, remember to stress the final word. Where are you from? What time did you leave? Sorry, what time does the meeting start? Why did you leave early? Again, where are you from? What time does the meeting start? Why did you leave early? And this works because a downward inflection adds weight to the question and making it sound natural and more serious rather than uncertain, like you're not knowing what you're saying. So let's practice the difference between a downward inflection that sounds uncertain and one that sounds confident, because many non native speakers and my students let their voice fade at the end of a sentence, making them sound uncertain. So, really stressing that final word adds confidence. So, you're not going to say, I work as an engineer. I work as an engineer. Do you work as an engineer? By with this inflection, a listener, a native speaker won't know. But I work as a software engineer, stressing that engineer. I work as a software engineer sounds far more confident. Another example, my presentation is tomorrow. Again, this sounds like a question. You're not going to sound confident, or or to a native speaker, they're not going to know whether you actually know what you're talking about. But when you stress tomorrow, it will sound assured, reassured. So, my presentation is tomorrow. Again, my presentation is tomorrow. And this will make you sound more authoritative and credible. Okay, let's use downward inflection now to emphasize the most important word in a sentence. Oftentimes, the most emphasized word comes near the end, and again, is marked by a falling inflection. So, I really need your help. She is moving to Paris. The deadline is Friday. Again, this drop in inflection at the final one, and again, sorry, another, it should be inflection. This this stress on Friday, on Paris, on help will highlight the key words, making your message stronger and clearer to a native speaker. So now let's practice inflection in introductions to avoid sounding like you're using a questioning tone. So again, hello, I'm Lisa Brown. That sounds like a question. Do you know your name? But hello, I'm Lisa Brown. That sounds confident, like you know your name. And eliminating this hesitation makes your introduction sound self assured, and more importantly, you sound more confident. So let's practice some more with using a downward inflection. Reading these sentences aloud with a strong falling inflection at the end, emphasizing that final word. So I'll say the sentence and you say it along with me. I have an important meeting tomorrow. She just started a new job. The movie starts at 8 p.m. Please send me the report by Monday. My name is Daniel Smith. Again, stressing that final word in each sentence. So now you know how to use downward inflection and downward pitch. I want you to challenge yourself and record yourself reading aloud these sentences. Do you hear your inflection? You're you dropping your inflection at the end. Repeat this exercise as many times as possible until you can really feel and hear the difference between a higher, less confident question and having a strong downward inflection, which will make you sound assured and confident. So now let's practice downward pitch. Read each sentence slowly and lower your pitch as you reach the end. So, I'm so tired. That movie was too long. I don't know what to do. That was a big mistake. I thought things would be different. Put away your phone. Listen carefully. Again, record yourself reading the sentences. Do you hear your voice, your pitch dropping at the end? Practice, 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 because that's the only way you'll be able to master this. All right, now we're going to move on to upwards versus downward pitch. Upward inflection versus downward pitch, sorry. We've learned about the importance of downward inflection and downward pitch, and how they are both extremely important to sounding more confident and natural in English. But what is upward inflection? This is mostly used when asking a yes or no question, or sometimes indicate uncertainty or incompleteness. An upward inflection is when your voice rises at the end of a word or sentence. How it works? Your pitch, or no, your pitch or your voice raises, usually at the end of a yes or no question. So, are you going to the movies? Your voice raises. Do you want something to drink? Again, your voice raises. Be careful. Some speakers overuse this inflection, making every sentence sound like a question. And the problem with this, uptalk, is constantly ending statements with an upward inflection makes you sound unsure. Research shows that excessive uptalk can make people seem less confident and professional, especially in job interviews. Many native speakers might find it tiring to listen to speech with a constant rising inflection. And here is how it sounds like. We'll talk about the developers. We'll talk to the developers, and they'll create a new API, but we want to make sure it's good. So we will review it thoroughly. Can you hear it? How it keeps going up in the end? This repetition is tiring for native speakers to listen to continually because it almost demands that we answer by nodding our head or saying mm-hmm, as if we're answering their question all the time. So, if you're someone like this, here's how to use rising inflection correctly in English. Use it only for yes or no questions. Occasionally, use it within a sentence to add variety to your speech, or when you want to emphasize something. Now, let's practice and identify rising inflection. Read the sentence with me below and decide if they should have a rising inflection or not. So, are you coming to the party? My name is Alex. Do you like pizza? I went to the store. Would you like some coffee? I'm going to give you a few seconds here and make a note of which one you think should have a rising inflection and which one you think shouldn't. Okay. The correct answers for a rising inflection are 1, 3, and 5, while sentences 2 and 4 should not. Now let's practice with me reading the correct sentences aloud with a proper rising inflection. Are you coming to the party? My name is Alex. Do you like pizza? I went to the store. Would you like some coffee? Right. Upward pitch generally means your voice gradually moves from a lower to a higher sound over a word, sentence, or phrase. Using this pitch will allow you to create different emotions and expressions in your speech depending on the situation and context. So, how do we use it? To show excitement or enthusiasm. So, when you're happy, amazed, excited, your voice naturally rises while speaking. Well, that's with native speakers. This voice Sorry. This is so cool. Your pitch goes up on so cool. This is so cool. Next one. I can't believe it. Your voice gets higher on believe. Again. I can't believe it. That's incredible. Your pitch rises to emphasize amazement. Now, to really understand the difference, try this. Say, that's amazing in a flat tone. So, that's amazing. Now, let's say it really stressing amazing. That's amazing. Can you hear the difference? We also use this pitch to express surprise or shock. So when you're surprised, your pitch naturally rises to show strong emotion. So, for example, wait, what? Your pitch rises sharply on what? What did you do yesterday? Your voice gets higher to show disbelief. No way! Your voice rises again on way to express shock. Now let's practice again. Repeat after me. Wait, what? You did what yesterday? No way. Try this. Say, you won with a flat tone. Now say it again, making your voice rise on one. You won? Can you hear how much more natural and surprised I sound, and maybe you sound, by doing this simple thing? Right. Pitch is also used to show nervousness or hesitation. So when you're unsure or nervous, people's voices rise over time. So, for example, I don't know. Again, your pitch rises to show doubt. I don't know. Maybe we should wait. Your voice gets higher on wait to show hesitation. Maybe we should wait. I don't know. Remember to repeat after me. I think I understand. Sounds unsure, like a question almost. I think I understand. So again, practice. Say I guess so in a flat tone. Now say it again, rising your pitch on so to sound unsure. I guess so. I guess so. Can you hear the difference? We also use this rising pitch to sound polite, approachable, or inviting. So, would you like some coffee? Your pitch rising to make it sound warm and friendly. How was your day? Your voice goes slightly up, making it sound more engaging. So again, would you like some coffee? How was your day? Let's practice again. It's nice to meet you. An upward pitch, which makes you sound more cheerful. It's nice to meet you. Again, let's try this. Say, how are you in a flat tone. How are you? Now say it again, rising your pitch at the end to sound friendlier. How are you? So, what is the difference between an upward pitch and an upward inflection? Well, both an upward pitch and upward inflection involve the voice going higher, but they are used in slightly different ways. So, to break it down simply, an upward pitch is a gradual rise in tone. As your voice gradually moves from a lower pitch to a higher pitch over a word or sentence, it happens throughout the sentence, not just the end. And it's used to show excitement, surprise, or nervousness, and friendliness as well. So, for example, this is so amazing. Your pitch gradually rises on so amazing. No way. Your voice rises over the word to show shock. I don't know. Your voice rises slowly, showing hesitation. An upward inflection means your voice rises at the end of a sentence. So it's used in questions to express uncertainty or politeness, and it makes your speech sound less final and more open-ended. So again, Upward inflection, your voice rises only at the end of the sentence. Whereas, as we can see here, rising pitch, your voice can rise throughout the entire sentence, not just the end. So, are you coming? Your voice rises at the end, making it a question. Could we try? Rising tone to make it sound uncertain. Are you going to the party? Sounds like a question, even though you're not saying are you, you're saying you are. You're going to the party? So the key differences are an upward pitch is a gradual rise, your voice rising throughout a sentence or word or phrase. It's used for excitement, surprise, nervousness, and enthusiasm. An example, this is amazing. Gradual rise on amazing. An upward inflection means a rise at the end, with your voice sharply rising at on the final one or two words in the sentence. It's used in questions to express uncertainty, hesitation, and be polite. So, for example, you're leaving now? A sharp rise at the end to make it sound like a question. So let's practice some more. First, rising inflection in yes or no questions. Again, rising inflection is commonly used at the end of yes or no questions, signaling a response is expected. And remember to repeat after me. Are you coming to the meeting? Did you finish the excitement? Sorry. Did you finish the assignment? Would you like some coffee? Again, this expresses uncertainty and prompts the listener to answer. Now let's practice rising inflection for clarification or confirmation. So, the meeting is at 3 p.m. You said you're flying to New York tomorrow. Wait, is this the first time you're trying sushi? Again, your voice rises again, sorry, this should be voice, rises to suggest uncertainty and encourage the listener to confirm or clarify. Now let's practice using inflection for friendly invitations or suggestions. Again, your voice rising on the last two words. So, would you like us to sorry, would you like us to join would you like to join us for lunch? Would you like to join us for lunch? Maybe we could watch a movie later. Maybe we could watch a movie later. How about grabbing a coffee after work? How about grabbing a coffee after work? Again, an upward inflection makes your invitation sound casual and open ended rather than demanding. We also use rising inflection in lists that's to say, when we're listing off multiple items, except for the last one, which signals the end of the list. So, we need to buy apples, oranges, bananas, and grapes. Again, voice rising on each item that's listed. We need to buy apples, oranges, bananas, and grapes. Again, now next one. She speaks English, Spanish, French, and Italian. Your voice rising on each language that's listed. She speaks English, Spanish, French, and Italian. On the trip, we visited Paris, Rome, and London. We use an upward pitch to show that there are more items coming, while the final downward pitch of inflection at the end shows that it's the end of the list. So let's practice expressing doubt now. I think this time practicing our pitch. I think the answer is 42. Maybe we should try the other restaurant. I'm supposed to meet her at, I think, 5? No, sorry. Supposed to meet her at 5, I think. Again, right, using a rising pitch makes it clear that the speaker isn't totally sure. So, more practice. I know there's a lot of practice, but practice is the only way to really master this. So, read each of the following sentences, making sure your inflection rises at the right places. So, at the final one or two words. Is the train arriving soon? You're coming to the party, right? So, you work in marketing? She's visiting from Canada? Let's meet at the cafe at 4. Again, stressing that final word. Here's my challenge for you. Create 3 of your own examples using rising inflection and say them out loud. Can you hear your voice naturally rising at the end? Now it's time to practice rising pitch. Read each of the following sentences aloud, making sure your pitch rises at the right places. So, this is so amazing. I can't believe it. Wait, what? You got a job? I guess it's okay. Again, again, we're using a rising pitch to express a wide range of emotions. So here's my challenge for you. And again, sorry, it should be pitch. Create 3 of your own examples using a rising pitch, as it should be, no inflection, and say them out loud. Does your voice naturally rise at the end? Now it's time for the final pitch and inflection, which is called the held or sustained inflection. Instead of ending with a downward inflection, which shows you finished saying something or is used to ask a question, the held inflection keeps people listening, like keeping the door open for more information. So you can think of a held or sustained inflection keeping your listener engaged instead of signaling the end of a statement, a falling inflection, or a question, a rising inflection. It holds the thought open. You can remember this inflection as I have more to tell you. The selective use of this inflection will allow you to hold your audience or listeners' attention, making them curious to hear how you're going to conclude. It's also helpful when you list things. So, I have in my fridge, I have ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, and milk. Each item steps up slightly in inflection, except for the last one which falls. It's powerful because it allows you to maintain your audience's attention. It also adds rhythm and variation to your speech. And most importantly, it stops you from sounding monotonous or robotic. So what's the difference? So now let's learn what a held or sustained pitch is, which means that you are keeping your voice at the same level for a longer time without changing its tone. It's often how we show strong emotions like excitement, frustration, or emphasis. So, for example, you can say no while holding the O sound on the same pitch. It sounds more dramatic. Another example is I'm so tired, where so is stretched but stays on the same pitch, making it sound more expressive. Held pitch is common in singing, dramatic speech, and stretching words for effect. So here are some example sentences. And again, repeat after me. That's so, sorry, that's amazing. Stretching that and amazing to show excitement. Again, that's amazing. No, holding no before lowering it to sound dramatic. And again, no. Now let's do the next one, which is so tired. Holding so to emphasize exhaustion. Now here's some more examples of held pitch where it stays on the same level for an extended period of time before moving on. That's amazing. Holding that and amazing to show excitement. Wow. Stretching wow at the same pitch to express amazement. We also use this pitch to express shock or surprise. So, no way, holding no at the same pitch before finishing the sentence, or really, holding really to emphasize disbelief. We also use this pitch to express exhaustion or frustration. So, I'm so tired. Holding so at the same pitch to sound drained or tired. Why did this happen? Holding why to express frustration. We can also use this jokingly to tease someone. For example, please, holding please at the same pitch to sound playful or begging. Oh, come on. Holding and on to sound dramatic or teasing. But what is the difference between a held pitch and held inflection? Well, it's how the voice is sustained or changed over time. Having a held pitch means keeping your voice at the same level for a longer time without changing its tone. It's often used to show strong emotions like excitement, frustration, or emphasize something. So, in the phrase, so tired, where the word so is stretched but stays on the same pitch, making it sound more expressive. On the other hand, held inflection means holding a word for a moment before allowing the pitch to rise and fall. This is often used in speech when someone is thinking, hesitating, or emphasizing something before finishing their sentence. So, in the example, are you sure? The word sure is held before your voice rises at the end, making it sound like a question. Another example is, I don't know, maybe, where no is held before rising slightly to show uncertainty. In simple terms, held pitch stays steady, while a held inflection prepares for a change in pitch. So here are the key differences. A held pitch is holding the tone before letting it rise or fall. Sorry, a held inflection, holding the tone before letting it rise or fall. It's used in questions, uncertainty, to express uncertainty or hesitation. So, for example, are you sure? Holding it, sure, before your voice rises. In a held pitch, you holding your mean sorry held pitch means that you're holding your voice at the same level for an extended period of time, and it's used to express it's used to emphasize something, drama, or to express yourself on a greater level. So for example, no, really stressing the o before your voice fades. Now let's practice using it in held lists. So when you're listing items, your pitch rises slightly on each item except for the last one, which indicates the end of the list. So again, I had eggs, toast, orange juice, and coffee. Your voice falling on coffee. This signals that there's more coming, whereas using a downward inflection signals the end of the thought. You can use an held inflection to draw people in and make them want to know what's coming next. So, one sec. Sorry. So, for example, yesterday I walked into the room and guess what? The biggest sale of the year. Using a held rising in statement of using a sorry again Using the rising held inflection makes it sound like there's more coming, keeping the listener curious. And the downward inflection at the end provides closure. So So, yesterday, I walked into the room, and guess what I saw? The biggest sale of the year. You can also use held inflection in a story for suspense, and this technique helps build anticipation and maintain attention while telling the story. Now, let's practice. I was walking home at night. Everything was quiet. Suddenly, I heard a strange noise behind me. I turned around, and it was just a cat. This works because using a held inflection, sorry again, will keeps the listener engaged, making them lean in for the next part of the story, while the downward inflection resolves the suspense. Using a held pitch to sound more engaging in a speech. So instead of speaking in a flat, monotone way, held pitch helps you vary your pitch, your voice, and keeps your audience interested. So today we're going to talk about three key strategies: how they work, and why they're essential for success. Using the using the held pitch. Sorry again, I'll have to fix this. Using the held pitch keeps your audience focused and signals that more information is coming instead of sounding boring or robotic. So let's practice. Read each of the sentences aloud and pause slightly after each held inflection for effect. So, I have a big day tomorrow, an important meeting, a client presentation, and then dinner with friends. Again, we're again we're placing a lot of we're stretching out the final words so people want to hear more. When you're learning a new skill, it takes patience, practice, and consistency. Again, this time we're listing off things and we're using a downward inflection on the last word. Imagine you're standing on a stage. Everyone's watching you. You're waiting to hear your next words, and then you begin to speak. Right, now it's time to practice held pitch. Read the sentences aloud, making sure to hold the pitch steady on the marked words. Then pause slightly before continuing. This will help you emphasize key points and create a natural rhythm in your speech. So again, we're pausing or stretching those words in order to emphasize the key points. And we're using it for daily activities and planning. So I have a big day tomorrow, an important meeting, a client presentation, and then dinner with friends. I need to finish my work, clean my apartment, buy some groceries, and then get some rest. Now let's practice using it in for to express self-improvement. When you're learning a new skill, it takes patience, practice, and consistency. Becoming a good speaker requires confidence, clarity, and a strong message. Now, try some variations. Say it quickly and slowly, noticing how a held pitch affects your delivery. Now, let's practice using it in storytelling and suspense. So imagine you're on a stage. Everyone's watching you, waiting to hear your next words, and then you begin to speak. Tip: hold your pitch longer on waiting to hear your next words to build suspense for the next state before the final statement. You walk into a dark room. You hear a strange noise. The floor creaks beneath your feet, and then silence. Try saying this again, saying it slowly and dramatically to create a storytelling effect. Now let's put it together. Read the paragraph below, applying the correct in sorry, applying the correct inflections. So, this weekend I'm going to the beach. Are you coming with me? I'll bring snacks like fruits, chips, sorry. I'll bring snacks like chips, fruit, sandwiches, and we can relax by the water. It's going to be amazing. Record yourself saying this paragraph and check. Did you have, did you drop your pitch at the end of statements? Did you raise your pitch at the end of questions? Did you hold your pitch when listing things? Now let's practice some more by using falling, rising, and held correctly. So, sorry again. By using falling, rising, and held inflection correctly, you can sound more confident and natural in English, improve clarity and intelligibility, reduce accent bias, and enhance professional communication, which will really improve your ability to study in an English speaking country, get a job, or even travel and communicate with native speakers. So, here is your final task. Record a 30-second introduction about yourself using all three inflections. Share it with a friend, teacher, or language exchange partner for feedback. And if you want even more practice, try reading aloud from books, news articles, and even your own conversation. The more you practice, the more natural your inflection will become. So, what's next? Now you understand how pitch and intonation shape natural English speech. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Is this you? Have you struggled with any of the following in the past year? Improving your pronunciation, real life dialogues, and understanding fast spoken English. Speaking and writing naturally and confidently in English. Communicating clearly without a heavy accent. And yet, you can't seem to stick to a plan. Plans you've created or tried are boring or overwhelming. And you need a flexible method that works, even on busy days, during tough times, or during the holidays. Imagine if you had a plan that you could do every day without stress, kept you progressing, no matter how demanding your schedule is, and helped you navigate any situation. Well, my program is the solution. The English Confidence Transformation Method will transform your identity so you can automatically think, understand, and speak in English daily. It fits into your lifestyle, whether you have a demanding job, a busy family life, or travel frequently, and works for all ages, backgrounds, and level of responsibility. Because the harsh truth is, talented professionals like yourself are missing out on opportunities because they lack confidence in English. Employees with strong English skills can earn up to 25 to 35% more in international companies, and fluent confident English speakers see 10 to 15% higher salaries on average. Don't be held back from applying for better jobs, being invited for interviews, receiving job offers, promotions, and bonuses, and working on exciting career boosting projects. What if you could harness career skills like interviewing, negotiations, resume building, social media presence, and getting clients? Imagine capitalizing on career opportunities by being confidently qualified for higher paying English speaking jobs so you can make more money and receive more bonuses and speak in a modern British accent with the right grammar, phrases, and effortless fluency so English becomes automatic for you. Imagine being able to think, speak, and understand English naturally, as easy as brushing your teeth. So, are you ready to transform your English and unlock your potential? And more importantly, be able to speak English confidently and with clarity and in an easily understood way, and express yourself in any situation like a native speaker. To confidently participate in meetings, pitches, presentations, and public speaking. To effortlessly experience the joy and empowerment of conversational English fluency, networking, creating friendships, and professional connections. If you're ready to take your English to the next level and have the ability to take amazing career opportunities in English, then it's time to take action now. Are you ready to take the next steps? In the link below in the description and first pinned comment, you can check out a link to book a free one-on-one call to see whether you're fit for the program. No pressure, just results. My coaching comes with a lifetime service guarantee, and we stay with you until you reach your goals and beyond. So maybe you need help with an interview in 5 years. The program will be there for you. So if you're interested and ready to take action, click to book a free consultation call now to see whether you're fit for the program, and I hope to see you there. But if you don't feel ready for that yet, then what I want you to do is to check out the playlist where you'll find a ton of more lessons about business English. And I look forward to seeing you in them. Bye.